Right. So normally you get stuck at trying to understand why you can't change that person's opinion of you. It's not true. That's the victimization feeling when you become a victim from an outside source. So there is no absolution for them messing you up because they don't recognize that they did that, whatever it is. They, if they recognize and seek forgiveness, then generally you have closure and you don't get all messed up about it. So this is when somebody has hurt you and you don't say anything about it, or even if nobody knows but you and that person. A man that hits his wife, that's a failure to communicate. He doesn't know how to express himself. That is a really sad and broken man. Small dick energy. Feel sorry for that person. That person is broken, or they would not have treated you in such a way. And that's what you have to come to the realization, is that you're not the broken one. The person who fucked with you is broken. And you allowed them to project that on you. And you accepted that into yourself. And now you got that voice in your head saying, yada, yada, yada. You're not worth it. You're undeserving. You're a woman. You're gay. You're just a kid. You're inexperienced. Anything that they have told you that you are telling yourself. Okay? This is not the typical reprogramming with affirmations or anything like that. Okay? This is actually tracing the roots, figuring out why that person did what they did to you, even if it's a stranger and not a family member. You don't have to know the answer. You need to know an answer. You need to know one that's acceptable to you. You need to understand where that person that hurt you got hurt so bad that they were broken enough that they had to hurt somebody else. Okay? And that's the bottom line, is understanding that you were changed by that is the first step in not blaming yourself for whatever your inadequacies are. Because depression is all about helplessness, hopelessness, and blame and shame. Self-blame, self-shame. It's all about self-reflection. So you got to take that mirror off, away from in front of your face, and start looking past your problems and your issues into what caused them. I know this sounds like basic, but it doesn't work that way when you are in a state of confusion, when nobody can actually tell you need to link this to this in this way. I was always able to think about what was done to me and how it made me feel, all that stuff, right? That never gave me absolution. It never gave me resolution. There's a lot of people that have done harm to me in my life that I have not approached seeking forgiveness or justice or anything like that. Most things you have to walk away from and not carry that baggage with you for the rest of your life. So in order to gain a little perspective and a little hope, you have to understand first off that you have been lied to. And if you can accept that, and then accept that that person that hurt you was broken, then you can actually develop an empathy and feel sorry for that sad, broken person. That's the first step, is being able to feel pity for the person who harmed you. Once you can do that, then you can gain acceptance into what happened to you and how it affected you and does not have to affect you anymore. There are certain things that take longer to fade with time. But any steps towards resolution eases your burden upon yourself of self-blame and self-shame. And you know what? That is the first thing that we have been taught to be experts in, is throwing blame, throwing shame, and receiving it. That is a fundamental breakdown of communications in our nation. People screaming about injustices with no one to hear them. You can see the police and the protesters. It's black and white, bright as day, and day and night, is very clear. One side calls them protesters. The other side calls them rioters and looters and vandals and things like that, without recognizing their right to be heard. And so white America is sitting in their chairs watching this unfold in real time on TV. Sure, we have a good laugh because nobody went to see Trump. But the truth is, most of those people, I mean, that bodes well for the rest of us because his base is getting old and dying for the most part, except for those who have benefited financially or career-wise. You know, because Christianity is straight up a business nowadays. It's nothing else. You won't find a church that is not run as a business. And there are independents and there are affiliates, different organizations. Hell, there's 131 flavors of Christianity right now. My experience is with Southern Fried Christianity. So I'm not saying that there's not some good people out there, but you tell me your church's take on the story of Lot, and I'll tell you whether or not you're in a cult. How do we fix what's broken in the world? First, you need to re-examine these human ideals, what they mean to you, and rebuild your own belief system. Not just in how to connect with God. Not just in how to be a good enough person to not be burning for eternity. It's time to look a little past the end of your own nose and try to see what kind of kids we want to develop in this world. Because that's really where it boils down to. If you have enough money, you have enough money to give your children a good support system, independent of what the government has to offer or your local community has to offer. If you don't start that privileged life out with a correct set of values, then you just perpetuate the same disconnect with the rest of humanity. So, on a personal level, we want to connect with people around us and we want to connect with our community and stuff, but sometimes it's hard. Dare to say it's nearly impossible for the average American, white American, to connect with anybody socially. White America that is not Christianity, they go to movies, they go to concerts, they go to activities. Kids go to raves, whatever, to connect with others. But these are events. These don't contain any ideals. They contain a mutual love for entertainment, or in the case of music, maybe to get fed spiritually. But if you have to pay that much to go to church every single time, so to speak, to reconnect with your fellow man and with your spiritual self, reinvigorate what you believe, then there is no way to get fed on a regular basis without just becoming a cult of personality and following any one person.